it's working before I start chatting to anyone here. Hello, welcome. Do I have two inputs going on here? Audio input capture mic input. Which one is which, I wonder? This one. Use the audio. Okay, I got the right microphone going. Perfect. My notification. Oh, there we go. Just gonna see if I can. Just gonna see if I can make my computer not so unhappy, so that I can record without the background of my MacBook working out hardcore. Give me a few minutes before I actually get into the topic here. That was rude. I apologize. Gotta close Steam. Close that. Okay. I think I'm almost ready. Sorry. Alright. Have you calmed down yet, MacBook? Calm down. Stop ing. So I can get good audio here. I'm hoping nobody's watching currently. I'm sorry if you are. Alright. Let's get into it. Just pulling up my script here on my computer. I'll just start off by saying all of the keywords that we're using today and close off my thing. First, I apologize if I continually clear my throat, cough, sneeze, or any of that good stuff. I have been sick all this week. Not COVID, but I have been sick. So you might hear that in my voice. I apologize. I'm sorry. It's not going to be the best sound quality because of that. Keywords for this particular episode is going to be depression motivation, help with depression, gut health, depression, dysbiosis, microbiome, microbiota, gut brain axis, psychiatric conditions. So welcome back to another episode of Steps to Health podcast. I'm Jocelyn. I'm a nurse working in Canada, and I love to talk about all things nerdy in science, so that's what we're doing here. This week's episode is based on gut health and what that means when it comes to our mental health and our overall physical well-being. So in this episode, we are going to explore the deepest caverns of our body, the magical world of bacteria that live within us, inside our intestines, our gut microbiota, which I will pronounce multiple different ways during this episode simply because I just can't seem to get it right. How important is our gut? Is there a link between the health of our gut and our mental health? Yes. Are there lifelong implications relating to how we are born and what we eat in those first few years of life? How can you help your gut flora flourish? Stay tuned to find out. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Share this with people who might find it as interesting as I do. That's Steps to Health on YouTube. Or you can visit stepspodcast.com for more info. Wow, total failure there. So what is microbiota? What is our gut microbiota? You've likely heard of gut health and the bacteria or flora that live and thrive in our gut, our intestines. The microbiota in our gut play some pretty important roles in our overall health and well-being. As more and more research unfolds, we are realizing how incredibly important these microbiota are for our overall health and our mental health, our immune health, our physical well-being as a whole. What is the gut-brain axis? You may not have heard of this, but the gut-brain axis exists in all of us. According to a 2015 article published in the Annals of According to a 2015 article published in the Annals of Gastroenterology, the gut-brain axis consists of biodirectional communication between the central and the enteric nervous system, linking emotional and cognitive centers of the brain with peripheral intestinal functions. So the central nervous system includes the brain's spinal cord, whereas the enteric nervous system includes nerves within the esophagus, the stomach, the small and large intestines, our pancreas, gallbladder, and our biliary tree, liver area, If you've ever found yourself visiting the toilet, like really often, or have sudden urges to throw up or have many bowel movements when you're incredibly nervous, this is why, the gut-brain axis. If our central nervous system induces the fight or flight response, the enteric nervous system responds to it as well. So much like how our nervous system, or central nervous system, can influence the enteric nervous system, the enteric nervous system can also influence our central nervous system. Not only through stimulation, but did you know that the bacteria within our gut actually produces around 95% of our serotonin? Like, that blew my mind when I found that out. And serotonin plays many roles in our body, from behavior to mood to somatic or unthought about functions, such as the perception of the world around us, our attention, our overall mood, sex drive, our appetite, sleep, aggressive tendencies, and motor functions. Yep, serotonin can actually increase the contractility of our muscles by increasing the rate at which our motor neurons fire. Isn't that interesting? That's just wild. Blows my mind. To put this into greater perspective in terms of mental and physical health, disrupted serotonin levels or altered sensitivity to it can cause major depressive disorder, schizoaffective disorders, or even Parkinson's disease. Knowing this, it is easy to visualize how much of an impact our gut health can have on our overall well-being. A 2017 systematic review published in the Annals of General Psychiatry looked at multiple clinical studies, and these studies showed that the use of probiotics and its effect on depression. This is really exciting for me. Each study showed positive results. By taking probiotics for an average of 8 weeks, people were able to increase their overall mood and decrease their feelings of depression, just by taking probiotics. So our gut health can absolutely influence the development of other neuropsychiatric disorders such as schizophrenia, autism, and as well as other anxiety and depressive disorders. So mental health is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to our gut biome. There are various studies linking our gut health, and when I say gut health, I mean just like our bacterial load, what kind of bacteria is in there, how much of it, and how much it's eating what we're eating essentially. So there are various studies that are linking gut health to things such as ulcerative colitis, rheumatoid arthritis, type 2 diabetes, Parkinson's disease, and other metabolic disorders. So how can we help our microbiota flourish? Things that affect our microbiota include genetics, diet, short-term and long-term diet, how we are born, and what we eat in the first years of life, what our stress levels are, what medications we are taking. Special shout out to antibiotics for messing things up. And of course, infections could also affect our microbiota. If you were born by cesarean section, your lowered levels of lactobacilli and bifidobacteria can increase your risk of developing allergies. Infants who are happy and fed with formula may experience greater sensitization to food allergens as infants, much like their cesarean counterparts. Isn't that interesting? So if you were born by a C-section and if you are fed formula in that first year of life, you're missing out, and that's okay. You know what? Your baby has to eat. Please don't beat yourself up over feeding your baby. Your baby is fed. That's awesome. Okay? No judgment here. But if you don't get the benefit of breast milk or a vaginal delivery, you actually miss out on quite a lot of microbiota. But you can get this bacteria other ways. And they're still kind of working out the nitty-gritty of how this can happen. I'm such a hand talker. I'm sorry. But you can get, in the refrigerated section, pills that you can take that have probiotics and prebiotics in them, and that can help the good bacteria flourish a little bit. But anyway, if you are born by cesarean section, or if you did eat formula as opposed to breast milk, which has probiotics and prebiotics inside of it, then you do have a lesser diverse, or you have lesser diversity of your bacteria in your gut and less of such. And that can predispose you to food allergens. And there are some studies showing that it might actually contribute to the production of other allergies. Isn't that interesting? It's wild. It blows my mind. How can we help our guts? How can we love our guts? Love your guts? I'm glad I'm going to go back and edit this. This is an interesting question. How can we love our guts? It is not definitively answered for a number of reasons. Although science and literature conclusively links diet with the composition of our gut microbiota, ultimately, further research is required before clinical recommendations can actually be made. Studies are compromised due to the fact that long-term studies are difficult to maintain, as it would require diet to be altered for an extended period of time. And in that extended period of time, there are many variants that might interfere with this clinical study. Current studies can, however, use existing knowledge and apply it to certain diet suggestions using educated guesses. So your doctor very well may suggest certain dietary changes, or your nurse practitioner, or your nutritionist, or your nursing mother may make certain suggestions based on existing knowledge. Pardon me. So it is suggested that we increase our consumption of probiotics, omega-3 fatty acids, and other polyphenol-rich foods. Some studies are suggesting that a high-fat diet can lead to low-grade inflammation. So, as we know, low-grade inflammation can contribute to multiple issues in our overall body. Chronic inflammation at any grade, low, high, medium, can contribute to poorer health outcomes. That includes things like the development of diabetes type 2. Kind of interesting. That's something to be mindful of anyway. Have you ever tried to improve your gut health? How did it go? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences. and tell me, did you learn anything listening to this? Because I knew that gut health was an important thing, but I didn't realize how impactful it actually is to our mind. How much depression could we actually cure just by having diets rich in these pre and probiotics? I wonder. And when is the science now? Let me just calm down here a little bit. I'm getting a little bit excited and jumping around the map, but I have dozens, literally dozens of peer-reviewed scientific literature that has been published in science publications outlining the effects of probiotics and prebiotics and how they help reduce the symptoms of depression. So how come the Western medicine has not caught up to this knowledge yet? Why are we still going first and foremost to antidepressants instead of first giving people bacteria, the prebiotics and probiotics, acidophilus and the other bacteroids? Like, why aren't we suggesting people use that for 8 weeks before we go to antidepressants? I'm not discounting the importance of antidepressants. I'm just wondering why are we going to these neurotransmitter inhibitors, or these things that change the chemical composition of our brain? Why are we doing that instead of first looking at the gut? It could be that your gut is the cause of your chemical imbalance. So let's start there before we start tinkering around with things up here. Mental health is such a huge thing right now, and I want to see people talking about it in a positive light and in ways that can help them become better and more content with things going on, because everybody deserves that. So, highly suggest you help everyone out. Share this knowledge that you've gained here, and share the video if you feel up to it, I guess. Anyway, awkward session over. This podcast is going to be edited and then uploaded to this YouTube channel. So it'll be a little bit more entertaining, I promise. Less